Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Leticia from Letty Lynn's Corner, and today I'm wanting to show you what I call double embossing. So let's get started. So because it's fall time, I wanted to do something fall-like. So we're going to start with this. I actually don't know who made this, but it's a very neat stamp set because it's got the gears and different shapes within the leaves. So first thing we're going to do is trim down our paper. And I'm doing this at about a 5-inch, 5-inch by 5-inch. And then first thing we're going to do is use our little embossing buddy and make sure we get all the static off. And I'm using the Misty stamp tool. So let's see here. I'm going to do different offset ones here. And you can use any type of fall leaves, pumpkins, anything that you think would look really cool. So I'm going to bring out our Versamark stamp pad. Use an antique gold for this. So this isn't going to be a perfect image because it's kind of got a little bit of a rustic look to it. There we go. So I do have a few little marks in there that I'm not a fan of. So I am going to go and just get those off of there. And just take a little paintbrush and flick them off. Alright, set this aside and we'll go ahead and emboss this. Alright. So we have that embossed. Now I do kind of feel like there's something missing right here. So I'm going to add, I think, a different leaf. I think I'll do this one here. And just add that one in there. So back to our embossing buddy. Alright, so we'll see what we do. And again, it's not a perfect image because it's kind of got the rustic look, so I'm not too worried. So let's see what it does. No, it's not perfect, but I think it's enough to just give it a little bit of something there. Alright, so it gives us something. So it's not a very, this embossing powder is not a very shiny powder, which is totally fine, especially for what we're doing today. But typically, if I'm doing something that's similar gold, it's not gold, it's antique gold, so it's going to be a little bit of a, I guess, what would be tarnished somewhat. So it's okay. Alright, so next we're going to do is, I'm actually going to add a little bit of color to this. And I'm going to do that by using some distress inks. So there's two ways that you can do this. Is you could just put your distress inks on your glass mat and do kind of the smush technique, or you can actually be a little bit more precise and use a water brush. But I think for today, I'm going to use actually just the smush technique. And it is a little faster because you're not being really particular of where the color is going to go. And I think we'll start with that. So then we're going to add a little bit of water to it. And then if you kind of want to get it within the right, just basically would put it kind of in that vicinity. Just getting some color. And then just kind of rubbing it around. So if you're not seeing it where you exactly want it, then the next thing, because this is a pretty heavy paper that I'm using, I think it's 110 weight. So for some reason this cardstock is not absorbing it as well, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is dry this. And then instead of doing the smooshing technique again, I'm actually going to use a distress blending tool. So let's see, I am going to put a little bit more, I think, fossilized amber on there. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of carved pumpkin as well, because we need some orange in there. So let's... We're just going to do this and just start to the side and put it where you want it to go. All right, native orange. And our fossilized amber. So as you can see, it gives it such different dimension with those colors, and it kind of looks like a hot mess, but it's just, I think it's cool. So it gives it some different coloring. So now I feel like I don't have enough red in there, so I'm going to add a little bit of red. Alright, and I feel like I need just a touch of green, so we're going to add a little bit of this twisted citron. And so I see a hint here and here, so I'm just going to kind of add to that. And it just gives it a little bit more color. All right. So we're going to let this kind of, we're going to let this dry a little bit here. So it seems to me that there's a little bit, the leaves are kind of getting a hint lost within the color. So what I'm going to do is actually take a water brush, and I'm just going to kind of go in between there and just kind of put a little bit of water in there on these. And then I'm going to soak it up with some paper towel. And the hope is that it'll lift some of that color up. and brighten it up a little bit. So we did that a little bit with these pieces here. This one, want a hint dull, and I don't like that. So brighten those up just a hint. All right. So when you feel happy with that, with what your color got, put your distress inks away, and then we are going to take and do the second embossing part of it. So I have here several different colors of the Distress Glaze, and so I have Walnut Stain, I have Weathered Wood, I have the Peel Paint, Cracks Pistachio, and the Antique Linen. I think that's the only ones I have. So, I'm thinking I'm going to go with, the Antique Linen. It has a hint of the yellow in it, so it'll bring things out. So get yourself, I use a piece of parchment paper just to kind of not make such a big mess. And you can use either the embossing dauber that Ranger puts out, or you can just use your Versamark again, which that's what I'm going to do. So we're just going to go in and smoosh that embossing ink all over it. And remember, if there's anything else you wanted to do to this before you do this, that's a good idea, because once this is done, it's going to be somewhat so-called plasticized, because it's going to seal it all in. And not really any need to use the embossing buddy with this, because you're obviously doing all of it. There's nothing that you're trying to keep from getting embossed. So you can go ahead and use this here. Make sure I don't have any extra stuff on it. And then make sure you get your embossing gun really hot so that it is melting the embossing powder quickly, so that it doesn't, your paper doesn't warp, and then also so it doesn't start to get into that first layer of embossing powder. All right. I'll let that cool for a second, and as you can see, it makes all of those colors really pop, because it has a hint of color in the embossing glaze as well. So once it's cooled down a little bit, I am actually going to take a little bit of the ground espresso, and at this point I didn't get the embossing, the Versamark didn't go on perfectly, so there's little hints of spots that don't actually have the embossing glaze on it. So what will happen is when we do this, this will go over to the top and kind of seep into those little spots and give it kind of another different look. So I'm going to use a blending brush for that. So I feel like it's to the touch. It's now very shiny and plastic feeling. So then you just start on the edges. All right, so now we are going to pretty much just add a sentiment to this and mount it onto a card. All right. I'm using the Gina K Designs tape gun. Tape dispenser, I should say. Just gotta make sure I put it the right way. And at this point, because it's not really specific, you could decide which way you want your card to open, whether you want it to be opening this way or this way. So I think for this one, I'm going to actually have it open this way. And there we go. And then I already picked out what I was going to put. I was going to do Happy Thanksgiving on here. So then it's a question of what to put it on. So I could go back with the green, or I could do gold. I do have this die cut that we could put on here. All right, so we'll go ahead and just use our Misty for a second and stamp that. I'm going to go ahead and just do it in black and then emboss it in black. We could dullien it a little bit and make it a little more antique looking. So let's go forward and do that. And there it be. Cute little Thanksgiving card. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos to come on different techniques that I've learned and that I enjoy. Also remember that I have an Etsy shop with all kinds of converted rubber foam cling stamps that you can choose from. And also there's some other ones on there as well. So anyway, thanks for watching and happy Thanksgiving. Have a great day.